Okay, for part two, we're going to do the access layer switch, which has more security associated with it. Called out on the exam objectives of the old 300-115 CCMP switch test. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clear our console of those messages, moving our cursor over. Logging synchronous. Boom. All right, so that's done. CDP and LLDP, again, is a little bit different on access layer switches. We don't want to transmit that type of information to edge ports, so we're going to kill it. First, I'm enabling LLDP, upping my CDP version to version 2. These are my access ports on this switch, 1 through 22. 23 and 24 are actually connected to the core switches. But for LLDP, you can control the bidirectionality of how it is operating. So I'm still going to leave LLDP to be able to receive LLDP messages from those devices. Right now, the only two things I see are the core switches. But if something connects to the access ports or edge ports and broadcast LLDP, I will be able to perform some discovery safely on it. They will not get anything from me. All right, let's do VTP. Again, you always want to make sure that your configuration revision is 0, so you don't wipe out VLAN databases on other switches. VTP is a bit of a dangerous feature. Upping the VTP version to version 3 with all the cool features. Putting in a VTP password hidden in the config. And we got all our VLANs. That's how VTP works. You don't have to do all that configuration. Just do the configuration on one switch, make it the server, and then it pushes out to all the others. All right, let's do 802.1q trunking. We'll do 2 interfaces at once with the interface range command. Yeah, so this command does not work on this switch because 802.1q is the only form of encapsulation on it. The other 2 switches, it did work because it had other forms of encapsulation for trunking ISIL. I'm going to no-negotiate to kill DTP for good security practice. The native VLAN in the black hole VLAN, which is suspended. We're going to remove 99 from the allowed VLANs. Queue is configured. Let's do some VLANs. So this access layer switch is not gonna have any routing protocols on it, so it does need a default gateway configured for it, or a static default route. Either way, this one works a little bit better. No IP routing on it. Do some spanning tree. Rapid spanning tree. That command takes, but it actually has no effect in rapid spanning tree mode. Same with that one. I'm just doing the commands for muscle memory. Doing an interface range for my access layer interfaces. Putting them into port pass mode. Good. Saying switch port host makes them edge ports and span. And we're going to enable BPTU guard to ensure that no BPTUs come across those interfaces, and if we see them, we're going to shut them freaking down. In case some creative employee decides to plug in a switch and create a layer 2 loop. All right. Next feature we're going to be configuring is something called RSPAN, which is a way of doing port mirroring across multiple switches using a Cisco technology called RSPAN. It needs a special VLAN in order to work. We did create a special VLAN 2 called RSPAN. You can see it right there. That's what we're going to use for our RSPAN VLAN. It's in there. Oh, yeah. So this switch doesn't support it. That's the command. It's monitor session 1 source remote VLAN 2. And you say monitor session 1 destination interface So we're going to take one and we're going to throw it on VLAN 2. Those are the commands. It just doesn't work on the switch because it doesn't support the feature. Again, just doing it through for the muscle memory, the command syntax. All right, the next thing we're going to check is or configure is DHCP security and port security. To do so, I'm going to create an interface range for my access layer interfaces. Set them all to access. Kill DTP. Make the MAC address sticky. With a count of 1. This is typically only going to be used in a high security environment. We're going to shut the interface down if we see any violations of that 1 sticky MAC address. Common trip up question, you actually have to end it with this command, which actually enables. Oh, you smell. All right, so I got to. Anyway, you all get the concept. I just put interface 1, which is currently a span interface. I won't do that the next time. Do some DHCP snooping. Boom. ARP inspection. Making our uplink interface trusted for DHCP snooping. So the DHCP packets are allowed to traverse without the interface getting shut down. It would be bad if it wasn't. Oh no, dynamic ARP inspection. Access facing interfaces. I'm going to exclude 1 demonstration purposes so we can get through it. Through 22. IP verify. Switch doesn't have this one either. Yeah, it doesn't have it. Anyway, the command is IP verify source port security, like that. Yeah, it doesn't have it. All right, let's do some storm control. Doesn't have storm control? Oh, wait. These are limits and then a falling limit. I'm not going to go through the entire syntax or the reasoning behind that command. If you're studying for certification, I'm sure you know what that does. Important thing. This is just muscle memory on the command syntax. Let's do some .1x, which also is called out on the objectives. First, you got to kick off the new model. You need a radius server. That's the authentication to .1x to the default group of radius. Enables it. It's redundant. We've already done it before. So did that work? Oh, I know what it is. So before version 12.246, or on version 12.246 and earlier, the command was .1x port control auto. It took. Afterwards, the command was authentication port control auto. Yeah, both works on the switch. Go figure. So anyway, important distinction if it's a trip up question. All right. So access layer done.